Professor Watkins, some, including yourself, have called for an economic boycott of Sanford, Florida, if George Zimmerman is not arrested. Tell our viewers why you support this.
I support the boycott as of right now, because when you look at what's going on in Sanford and what has happened in Sanford, it's not a stretch to think that there could be some serious corruption going on there. If you look throughout the history of George Zimmerman, you find that this man, who is the son of a judge, has been allowed to walk free on many offenses that would have landed a guy like me in jail. So I think that there are some people that are shaking in their boots in the Sanford government that realize that they've been complicit in allowing this man to escape punishment for things that he's done in the past. So I think that everyone should be investigated. I think that his father should be investigated. I think that all of these individuals who may have obstructed justice now and in the past should be dealt with, because the prosecution of George Zimmerman is really just the beginning.
Let's talk for a moment, if we could, about the Trayvon Martin case. I know that on the night of the shooting, you were not home.
Right.
You had a fight?
Yes.
With George. Do you remember what that fight was about?
It was something about, we had gone out for the night, and I was complaining about feeling sick, and he just didn't want to deal with it, and publicly humiliated me. And that's why I ended up leaving, actually, the night before.
And so you weren't at home when
No.
he came home?
No.
So many different things that are just absolutely untrue. This has nothing to do with Neighborhood Watch. George had cooked dinner for him and his wife and was going to the store.
And I guess helped Shelley, who was going through what she was going through, right?
Near hysterical. She had called me she was visiting her father's home at the time.
But on the night of the shooting, you were not home.
Right.
You had a fight?
Yes.
And she received a call from a neighbor from Twin Lakes, and then she immediately called me. And both of us got into our vehicle and arrived at Twin Lakes about within 10 seconds of each other.
Talk for a moment, if we could, about the Trayvon Martin case. I know that on the night of the shooting, you were not home.
Right.
You had a fight?
Yes.
With George. Do you remember what that fight was about?
Fact that George Zimmerman himself was on all sorts of drugs when he killed Trayvon Martin, and drugs that have violent side effects, known scientific violent side effects. When Zimmerman's medical records were released, I'm getting this from globalgrind.com, it was revealed that he was on the prescription drug temazepam, also known as Restoril. Temazepam, Restoril, right? Because they have good names for their drugs. Our strain names are silly, but temazepam is a good name. This drug is known to cause insomnia and anxiety. And also, according to the U.S. National Laboratory of Medicine, the drug is known to cause aggressiveness and hallucinations. And, according to the, again, National Library of Medicine, after taking temazepam, patients should not be walking around trying to watch anything or anyone. They are cautioned that if they do not sleep for at least 7 to 8 hours after taking the drug, they may experience memory loss. Zimmerman was also on, not just one drug, was also on the often abused prescription drug Adderall, aka meth, aka speed, which is known to cause, quote, again, National Laboratory of Medicine, quote, worsening mental or mood problems. For example, aggression, anxiety, delusions, depression, hallucination, and hostility, end quote.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you.
You know what they call me? Oath breaker, man without honor. Now you want me to break another sacred vow.